Hi everybody, I know right now you're busy revising your syllabus, remembering all the formulas and results, practicing PYQs, sharpening your concepts, taking mock tests. But hey, what if I told you, apart from all of this that you're doing, there is one thing which is more like a skill that if you fail to master, it can break your score and shatter your dream completely. But if you do master, it can boost your score by up to 20%. This skill is highly overlooked. Students neglect it all the time and take it for granted, and eventually they end up paying a huge cost by wasting a lot of their time, losing their precious marks, and panicking during the paper. What is this? What is this skill? Any idea, any clue? Yes, folks, it's none other than rough work management. Rough work management. If you look at the answer sheets of all the toppers across different examinations, you will realize that their answer sheet almost resembles a fair solution manual of their question paper. Everything is so neatly presented. All the solutions, the steps, the calculations are written very clearly, no clutter and hence no confusion. But on the contrary, there is a very common misconception among students. I'll share it with you. So the common tendency which generally students have is they feel that if in that pressure situation during the examination, if we are going to focus on writing neatly in our rough work, if we'll focus on presenting our solutions in a structured, systematic and organized manner, we will end up wasting time. We will end up losing our precious seconds and minutes. And this is the idea which is drastically wrong. I will prove it to you in today's session itself that if you manage your rough work smartly and sensibly, it's not a time waster, bache. It is a time saver, score saver, and anxiety saver. If you invest that little extra energy, little extra attention in managing your rough work just properly, you will actually end up boosting your score by up to 20%. And I'm not kidding. Curious to find out how? Then let's dive in. See, time saved is time earned. Now, how does rough work management help us in saving our time? Point number one, rechecking nightmare. What does this mean? Now, consider the situation where you've solved a question in your rough work. You've written down the solution, but in a very random fashion. It's completely disorganized. Your solution is all across the page, anywhere, everywhere. Now, imagine coming back to this solution to revisit the steps and to recheck the calculations. What happens? What happens? You realize you are not able to understand your own handwriting because it's less of handwriting, more of scribbling. Can you imagine how frustrated you'll get? You will completely lose your temper. You'll start panicking. You will be stressed. Your heartbeat will run very fast, and eventually you will end up solving the complete question once again, thereby wasting so much of your time and energy. So clean rough work, organized rough work, structured, presentable rough work eliminates this stress and saves this time. Are you understanding? Let me share with you another point of insight, which is logical flow. See, when you are neatly presenting your rough work now, when you've written all the mathematical symbols properly, like for all, there exist, you've put all the implication signs properly, which show that you're moving from one step to the other and so on. You have left enough space in between digits and expressions. What happens as a result of an organized rough work? It creates a logical step-by-step, very systematic flow. What I said? When your solution looks very organized, it creates a logical, systematic step-by-step flow. So at any step, let's say you have committed some mistake, you will be able to spot that error instantly, rectify it then and there without redoing the entire calculation. Yes, so much of your time is saved, so much of your energy is saved. Yes or no? So that is why I'm saying that when you invest a few extra seconds in managing your rough work properly, in presenting your solutions properly, it saves you from a lot of time waste and energy waste. Got it? Let me share with you another point of insight, which is focus and calmness. Now, this is very, very beautiful. Suppose your answer sheet, your rough sheet, your solution sheet looks all messy and cluttered. What will happen as a result? What will happen when your rough sheet has solutions not at all written properly or in a systematic manner? As a result, it will create mental clutter. If your rough sheet is disorganized, your head space will become disorganized. You will end up committing more and more mistakes. You will not be able to take the right decisions. And eventually, you will be full of stress, full of panic. You will start becoming restless and you will get completely frustrated. You will lose your focus. And as I said, your decision making will be very much hampered. On the other hand, if your rough work is organized, what happens? Your headspace also gets organized. You are more in control. You don't lose your sharpness. You don't lose your focus. You don't get restless. Your decision making is pretty good. You are able to spot errors quickly. You're able to rectify your mistakes quickly and move faster without compromising with speed and accuracy. Just imagine the brilliant edge you get when you are able to manage your rough work efficiently. It helps you in rechecking your solutions very nicely. It helps you in spotting errors quickly without wasting time in redoing your entire solution and calculation. And it helps you remain calm and focused and take the right decisions in that pressure situation, which is so important. Such beautiful 3 profits you are getting just by investing a few extra seconds in managing your rough work just smartly, neatly, and systematically. Now, if you don't believe me, let me share with you some very promising data. There was a study conducted in 2023 of toppers' performance, and these were the secrets revealed. 90% of the toppers follow a structured rough work system, right? Students with organized rough work scored 15 to 20% higher as they could recheck their answers quickly and avoid silly mistakes because they were able to spot their errors very quickly, rectify the mistakes. Maintaining speed and accuracy, they were able to move ahead without compromising with speed and accuracy. And proper rough work saved an average of 10 to 12 minutes, which the students, the toppers, used to attempt 3 to 4 more questions, translating to 12 to 16 bonus marks. Guys, this is crazy. This is literally crazy. You have to realize the importance, the weight, the gravity of this point. This is the difference between AIR 5000 and AIR 1000. So the power which rough work management has is unparalleled. It's just crazy. You just have to realize how important it is. I'll share with you a personal experience. So after my graduation, I sat for an exam whose format was kind of similar to JEE. Now what happened was I was left with last 12 minutes and I had 2 choices. Choice 1 was that I can go ahead and attempt a new extra question, right? I'm going to get 4 marks from there. Probably it might get correct. Or in those last 12 minutes, other choice number 2 was that how much ever paper I have attempted, let me go back and revisit the calculations and the steps and just give it a revision, okay, and check if I have committed any mistakes or not. So what I did was I went ahead with choice 2. And because my rough work was so neat and so tidy, very properly written in an organized manner, I was able to find 3 questions wherein I had committed very silly mistakes because of which I could have ended up losing my marks. So I invested my 12 minutes, 11 to 12 minutes which I was left with in rectifying those errors and thereby marking the appropriate correct option. All right. Now, let's assess why my decision was right. Okay. Let's talk numbers. Let's talk data. Now, if I would have gone ahead for attempting a fresh question, a new question, probably I would have got it correct and I would have earned 4 marks from there. But at the same time, I would have lost 3 marks for negative marking in my 3 questions which were getting incorrect. So 4 minus 3 gives me 1 as the overall gain from my first choice. But I went ahead with choice number 2. What happened as a result? I earned 12 marks because 3 of my questions got correct. I earned 12 marks. Correct? I also saved myself from negative marking of 3 marks, which I could have got if all these 3 questions would have been incorrect. Yes? So 12 marks gain, actual gain, and 3 mark gain because I could have lost those 3 marks in negative marking. So in total, 15 mark gain. But In those 12 minutes, I could have attempted a question from where I would have earned 4 marks. So I've lost those 4 marks now, right? So 15 minus 4 gives me in total 11 mark gain. So in my choice 1, I'm gaining a profit of 1 mark, and in my choice 2, I'm gaining a profit of 11 marks. Look at the margin. With this margin, well, this margin can take you thousands of rank behind in the race if you go ahead with choice 1. And it can bring you thousands of rank ahead in the race if you go with choice 2. This is the magic. This is the magic of managing a clean, tidy, organized, structured, systematic, confusion-free, clutter-free rough work. Also, guys, a very important point is that towards the end, if you are left with a few minutes, like 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, always opt for rechecking your solutions, going through the calculations once again, rather than being greedy and attempting more new and fresh questions. It's always a profitable deal to go and revise what you've done rather than jumping onto getting a new question correct. Did you get it? Now, let me tell you some very actionable tips, objective tips, which you can follow to maintain your rough work in a neat, systematic, and organized manner. Let's start. First of all, what are you supposed to do is divide and rule. This is a very foolproof strategy. So you get your A4 size sheet as your rough work sheet. What you have to do is divide it into 2 columns. You start writing from the top left corner. Once your solution is completed, you draw a horizontal line. After that, you write another solution. Once it's completed, draw another horizontal line. When one column ends, you move to the next column. What happens as a result of this is your solution is packed within a very nice rectangular box. Okay, and it's occupying very limited space. It's very compact. So it's within your visibility range. As a result of which, what happens that you are able to recheck your solution very quickly. If there are any mistakes, you can locate them very quickly, spot errors very quickly, and rectify them very quickly. So it's a very big time saver and anxiety saver. Please do this, okay? Next is index your work. This is an underestimated point, but it is a game changer, everyone. Please number every question that you are attempting. Number every question that you are attempting. Write the question number beside every solution in the rough sheet. You can't believe it is such a wonderful input. Why? Because it might happen, let's say, that you have written down the solution for question 3 and some or the other mishap has happened, so you decided to move on. Now, afterwards you remember, oh, in question 3, I had to actually revisit the steps because I think I had done some or the other thing wrong. So you start flipping your rough worksheets, but nowhere question 3 is you are able to see. You are nowhere able to see your question 3 because you have not marked question 3 or answered 3 or numbered 3. Nowhere you have numbered the question 3. As a result, what happens? Just imagine how much panic will be created. Just imagine the stress, and eventually you will pick up your pen and solve the entire question again, redoing the entire solution again. Such a drastic time waste, energy waste. Yes or no? Okay, so remember to number the questions always, always, always. Okay, moreover, remember that if suppose you start solving a question, you reach halfway. After 4-5 steps, you realize, oh, I'm stuck. What should I do next? It's not striking. I'm not able to come up with the idea for performing the next step. I am stuck. I'll have to leave the question and move on to the next one. Before doing that, leave ample amount of space after the 4-5 steps. Then you draw the horizontal line and then start solving the next question. What happens as a result of this is, eventually afterwards, when you come back to resolving it, redoing it, and revisiting it, first of all, you will be able to locate it very quickly because you've marked the question number, correct? And secondly, because you've already written 4-5 steps very neatly, you can very nicely resume from step number 6 and complete your solution. Your thought process will be perfect, perfectly organized, and you will be able to think clearly and come up with the next step clearly. And the chances of you now cracking that question will increase even more. Okay? Next up is no overwriting. Now, this happens with all of us. The moment we commit a mistake, the moment we write something wrong, what do? We overwrite upon it and try to correct it. As a result, it becomes very confusing for you to make sense of what you've written. You are not able to understand it because it's more like scribbling and clutter. What happens as a result is you end up committing a lot of silly mistakes, you are not able to identify the error, and you end up with a lot of negative marking. So please, bache, you have to realize you have to keep your rough work, keep your written solution in a very neat and readable format. So whenever you have committed a mistake, you've written something wrong, just cut it out, cross over it, and then move on. Okay? No overwriting, no scribbling, no making designs like this over it. It's just going to make it difficult for you to spot errors and recheck your solution. It will make it super difficult for you. Okay, and you'll end up losing a lot of your marks to negative marking because the scope of silly mistakes will increase. All right, next up is section-wise rough work. Now, this is very important, guys. Why? Because this point is emphasizing upon you keeping separate sections for the rough work of chemistry, physics, and mathematics. Don't mix it together. No. Because it might happen that you are toggling between the subject questions. Some questions you are attempting for math, then moving on to chem, then moving on to physics, then again coming to math, then chem, then physics, then chem, then math, whatever. So this switch that is happening should happen very, very fluid, in a very fluid manner, without disrupting your focus. So if you keep separate sections for rough work of physics, chemistry, and maths, this switch happens in a very focused manner. You are not distracted and you're able to enter the zone of physics, enter the zone of chemistry, enter the zone of math without getting disturbed at all. Got it? Next up is write legibly, not perfectly. See, you have been hearing me consistently saying that your presentation has to be neat and tidy. Your rough work should look very clear, very organized. But hey, I am not saying that we are participating in a handwriting competition and I want your calligraphy skills to be superb. No. All I want you is to write in a clear, readable fashion. I want you to prioritize clarity over speed. Instead of performing the calculations and writing the steps very fast in a scribbling manner, just take a few seconds, relax, and write everything neatly. Because it obviously will help you in spotting your errors and saving your time, energy, and marks. Okay? So point is to write in a clear, readable manner. Got it? It will help us improve our accuracy and it will help us in saving ourselves from the rabbit hole of negative marking. All right. Next up is use bullet points. Now, what is the relevance of this point is that when you have lengthy, time-consuming, irritating, long calculations involved, which is the trend of mathematics, what happens? Sometimes in some or the other intermediate step, we commit some error, because of which all the following steps happen to be wrong and eventually we reach at the incorrect answer. Okay? So in order to avoid the redoing of the entire calculation again, I would suggest that please break your entire calculations into little chunks or steps, distinguish them with the help of bullet points. What will happen? This will help you spot errors effortlessly. Very quickly, you will be able to navigate and catch hold of your mistake. Then and there you can resolve and you will be saved from redoing all those calculation steps again and again. Got it? Next up is dedicate 5 seconds to recheck. Now, just a while ago, I told you that if you are in the end left with around 10, 12, 15 minutes, then always prioritize rechecking what you've already done, because from there we want to ensure that we have secured our marks. How much ever questions we've attempted, we have secured those many marks. That surety has to be given more importance. So in the end, if you're left with some time, some amount of minutes, always prioritize in rechecking the steps, rechecking your already attempted questions. Okay? But like rechecking instead of attempting new questions. Okay? But even stronger than that is dedicate 5 seconds to recheck. So once your solution is complete, any one solution is complete, before jumping on to the next question and solving it, performing its steps, you please take 5 seconds to recheck the steps of this solution. Check if some or the other step is missed or not. Check if all the calculations are performed correctly or not. Check if there are some errors committed or not. Then once you have perfected that, then move on to the next question. Okay? These 5 seconds that you are investing is potentially saving 5 marks, guys. Are you understanding? Because once you have perfectly gone through the solution, you've navigated all the steps, you've corrected all the mistakes, you have guaranteed your 4 marks from that question. But you also at the same time saved yourself from negative marking of 1 mark. So in total, you are at a profit of 5 marks by just investing those 5 extra seconds in rechecking your solution. Isn't that just amazing? A pro tip before I end would be always carry 2 to 3 pens with you on the exam day. Just imagine you are in the middle of a tough question or you are in the middle of a lengthy calculation and your pen runs out. It will completely shake your focus and put you into stress. We don't want that to happen, right? So, little things matter. Do that. Okie dokie, now that you know everything about the importance, the benefits, the beauty of rough work management, how it can prove to be such a great score booster, and you've also learned what to do to actually implement it. Please, guys, please don't wait for the D-Day, the exam day, to put this into practice. Use every mock test, every question practicing session as an opportunity to work upon your rough work management. And you will realize that by the time your actual exam day arrives, this will become like your second nature. So, drop down in the comments below if there is any other rough work management hack which you know of, because I would love to hear it from you. See, toppers realize that rough work or NEET rough work is like a secret engine behind their success. Any topper, if you ask, he or she will say that it's not about how many questions I solve, it's about how I solve, how neatly I present my solution, because that helps me be accurate with my answers. There is no struggle between speed and accuracy, and I'm able to minimize my negative marking. It's not about attempting too many questions, guys. It's about attempting perfectly how much ever you attempt. All right. So I hope this strategy, you liked it. If you did, do not forget to hit the like button and don't forget to share it with as many friends as you can. As I said, if there is any other hack you know of related to rough work management or anything which can help you boost your marks on the D-Day, then let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear it from you. On this note, it's me, Bhoomika, signing off. Bye-bye and take care.